Okay, gents, let's focus now on another big game coming up in the Premier League this weekend. Newcastle United against Liverpool. Can Jurgen Klopp's side keep their relatively new resurgence going? A big win against Everton for them last time out. Newcastle, not a proper wobble, but a little bit of a wobble under Eddie Howe in recent weeks. Nick, who are the favourites heading into this game? Because Liverpool, like I said, feel like they're getting back towards their best at certain parts of the games. And for Newcastle, just isn't quite as cohesive as it was a few months ago. So it's going to be cool, though, to see if Liverpool can kind of just give Newcastle a bit of a reminder of, hey, we're still going to be in this top four race at the end of the season. Let's see if you're going to hang on us.
Yeah, I think this is a big game for big transfers. I'm kind of looking at Cody Gakpo, and and Darwin Nunez. I'm also looking at Alexander Isak, excuse me, who has shown some real glimpses of what he can be, and he had a big injury in there. Newcastle hasn't lost in the Premier League since August 31st in the 450th minute of stoppage time at Anfield against this Liverpool team. And that was a scrap. Remember, Jurgen Klopp was upset with all the time wasting. I think this has the potential to be the game of the weekend. I think we're going to see a lot of goals. Newcastle's outperformed its XG and XGA. Liverpool has underperformed arguably everything this year. I don't know who the favorite is. I still want to say Liverpool, but Newcastle at St. James's Park this year has been a special club. They've only allowed 2 goals since the World Cup break, but it was in their last 2 games. So I'm going to give Liverpool a slight edge, but it's only on reputation.
Andy, I mean, for Newcastle, defensively, they've been amazing, but scoring goals has become a bit of an issue for them. They've dried up recently. Is there any way they can fix that? I mean, they have a lot of new options, as Nick mentioned. Isak's back. You've got Anthony Gordon coming in. I mean, they have been rotating around that lineup, and it just seems like unless Miguel Almiron scores, then they're kind of struggling for goals a little bit.
I think the problem for Newcastle, and this might sound counterintuitive, I think they got too good too quick. And so teams have begun to respect them a little bit more than they otherwise might have. And so they don't have an unlock a defense type player anywhere in the team. They have a lot of brilliant counterattacking players who in open space, at speed, combining in that way, very, very good. Almiron being one of them, say Maximin being another one, Isak being another, like up and down the team, they're built to counterattack. Well, they've put together enough results this season. They've beaten enough good teams that now the good teams give them a little bit of respect, but everybody else gives them a lot of respect and says, all right, 9, 10, maybe 11 behind the ball, try to break us down because we know you can't. And so I think that's a big reason why they've drawn a lot of games this season. And it does feel like a lot of their games have been scoreless draws as well, where it just never gets going from the beginning.
And Joe, they do have a player who can unlock a defense. Bruno. He's just suspended. And that is the real worry for this game. Bruno is a special player, but as I've said on the show, as someone who watches them very, very closely, I don't know that there's another team in the league that one player is as important to what they do.
Yeah, and if Liverpool wins this game, then they'll be 6 points behind Newcastle, but they'll have a game in hand as well. So they could close the gap to just 3 points. And Newcastle obviously sitting 4th right now. And again, what we talked about with Man City chasing and hunting down Arsenal at the top, it's kind of similar to Liverpool hunting down those teams in and around the top 4, right? They've been there before. The Salahs, the Hendersons, Van Dijks, Alissons, they know what it takes, even if they have a sluggish start to the season like they have done, to just grind out results and just grind teams down and just get the job done. So I'm really excited to see this because I think however this game goes results-wise will really sum up how the rest of the season goes for both of these teams. I think if Liverpool win it, give them great belief. They can finish in the top 4. And if Newcastle win it, the same for them. But on the flip side, for either team, if Newcastle lose this, then there might just be a few more question marks popping up and saying, you're not quite ready yet, but they're still having a fantastic season. When we look at Liverpool, Nick, I mean, they looked back to their best at times against Everton, and that was mostly down to the rapid counterattacks, wasn't it? It was Salah and Gakpo getting on the score sheets, but it was the breaking, the speed, and they haven't quite got that high pressing style back, and it's not clicked back into place, but they found a slightly different way to actually win games. So what do you think about that? Are Liverpool back under Jurgen Klopp?
No. There's something unsettling about the way when I look at them. First of all, Mohamed Salah is still fantastic. 18 goals and 7 assists across all competitions. He can change a game on its own. It feels like he's due for a heater, as we say in hockey a lot of the time. But there's just such a mishmash, I guess it would be the way to put it. The youngster in the midfield with Henderson, who's a little too old, Fabinho, who's a little too slow, and Van Dijk's not back there. I mean, Gomez and Matip.
He could be back for this game.
He could be, right. He's not back. Sorry.
What do we make of the vibes at Liverpool, though? Because it feels like the body language and the vibes are the worst part of like, put the results aside, put the scores aside. It feels like that is the worst thing that's currently happening.
It has been off.
It's been off all season long. Again, I think I referenced it on our last show, but I was at Craven Cottage on the opening day, and something just wasn't quite right, and it's just carried on throughout the whole season. And I don't know, what do you think, Nick? Is it Jurgen Klopp's message sometimes when you have that same message to a same kind of group of players like he has? And yes, they have added a few new players like Gakpo, Nunez, and others, but largely it's the same squad that's been working with him for the last 5 years, right? So at a certain time, you need to freshen things up and change things up. And we all know that the manager usually goes, but I can't see that happening at Liverpool.
So listen, I will say yes and no. Yes, because last year I think he did an incredible amount of, and I know this is a weird thing to say about a manager's words, but I think he did a lot of damage. They went from mentality monsters to excuse collectors. And it was really annoying as a neutral. I can only imagine how that resounded in the locker room, because he had spent the last 3 years talking about, doing the Pep thing. We're above this. We're going to be fine. We have created this strong, not Pep now, Pep most years. And so that part, I think there has been an error made overall. But I also think this is the natural repercussions of, we are silverware hunters, and we're really only chasing one piece of silverware anymore. And I think it's hard to rally to get into the top 4 when you know that at your best, you're a title contender. And I just think there's a reckoning going on right now at Liverpool. And the only way it could have been fixed is if either Nunez or Gakpo, who I think our long-term success stories will be, just caught fire right away in the Premier League, and it hasn't quite happened.
Yeah, it hasn't. And then just defensively, mistakes are popping up, and it's just, it seems, we've said it before with them, right? The same has happened to Man United at the end of Fergie's era. A lot of great players, they've been loyal to them, and they're all kind of at the period of their careers at the same time where they are on the downward slope. And that's no disrespect to any of them. And you can understand why Liverpool stuck with them and rewarded them for all of their great work over the years and all the trophies they managed to win. But it was almost like they've been too loyal to them, right? And tried to push them all too far as a group this season. And it's all come to a head at the same time. So I think we'll see a lot of changes at Liverpool. And let's not forget the ownership situation there. It's kind of muddied the waters a little bit. And we will see more in the summer, I think, once the investment, the ownership situation is figured out. We'll probably, Jurgen Klopp deserves time to figure all that out and bring in new players to sort it out. But predictions for this game, Andy? I mean, what are you looking at? And key battles for the game, I think Newcastle just have to keep Salah quiet and the other forwards up there, right? Because it looks like they're finding a little bit of form over the last few weeks.
Yeah, there's just enough, I guess, uncertainty on both sides that it kind of comes down almost to a coin flip for me. And I think I'll shade towards Newcastle for the fact they're at home. Yeah, but I don't think it's. I mean, it could be an incredibly entertaining and thrilling back and forth game, but I think it's going to be short on goals. I think it could be 1-0 to Newcastle, especially if Callum Wilson is unable to play. How does Newcastle get the ball in the back of the net to next point, other than Miguel Almiron doing something incredible? So I think Newcastle have they have the talent, they have the ability. I think they also have the belief that Liverpool right now just don't have, for all the reasons that we just outlined.
I can see a 1-1. Nick, do you agree with that, or are you going with Newcastle?
I would love to go with Newcastle, but I also am going with the 1-1. I love Sven Botman. I think he's been one of the underrated guys this season. Yeah. I think there's enough there to hold Liverpool in check to some extent. But also, I usually don't say this. I think that Americans and English have a lot in common, including a love of toughness. But the one thing I'll never get as an American is whatever the 4 hours or whatever it takes to get from Liverpool to Newcastle is somehow viewed as like this monstrous trip. And that's why I'm leaning towards Newcastle getting a result. It's like me going to Pittsburgh, which doesn't seem very far. But, isn't there something in the mentality about these longer trips being something?
It's very true. And, living in Pennsylvania for a number of years, Pennsylvania as a state is the same size as the country of England. So to give you, my perspective on geography and travel times has totally changed after living in the USA for many years. So it's a breeze for me, if I'm honest, when I'm back in England. It's very easy. But let's see if it's a breeze for Liverpool this weekend against Newcastle. Usually isn't against them. So we're going to see if Jurgen Klopp's side are fully back to their best, fully back in the groove, and keep that resurgence going. But Eddie Howe and Newcastle, they're in the top 4 right now. That's where Liverpool want to be. This is going to be a massive game to see how the season pans out for both of these teams in the final months of the campaign. So head over to Pro Soccer Talk on NBCSports.com. You can see it along the bottom of the screen there. We'll keep you updated with the preview, how to watch information, team news, analysis, video highlights, and everything you need from this game. A massive one between Newcastle and Liverpool. Cannot wait to see St. James's Park going absolutely bonkers as Eddie Howe, Jurgen Klopp, and their players go head-to-head at St. James's. Going to be a good one, lads.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host for NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. For even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock and be sure to tune in for Premier League mornings every weekend on USA Network and on Peacock. We will see you over there.